What's going on, y'all, and welcome back to the channel. I hope everybody is doing good on this Saturday morning or afternoon, maybe night, wherever you are. I hope everybody is doing well. I wasn't supposed to be up this early, but I was going to cover the Epstein situation anyway. But that's until I got a crazy text message this morning that I'm going to share with you guys. But anyway, I want to touch on this Jeffrey Epstein ordeal first, because the U.S. Justice Department released some files, not all of the files. And that is a big problem because some of the Democrats and some of the Republicans are accusing the Department of Justice of violating its legal obligations after it said it would not be able to release all the documents by the deadline, which was at midnight, I believe, last night or the night before. And so many of the details in the thousands of files have already been heavily redacted. There's a lot of photos that are just blacked out, a lot of information that is just blacked out. And it's just highly disappointing given the fact that they've been playing this cat and mouse game for quite some time as it pertains to releasing these files. And people just want the truth collectively. This is not about a Democrat thing. This is not about a Republican thing. This is about humanity, because no man, woman, or child deserves to be violated under any circumstances or in any capacity. And it's just time for people to be held accountable. And again, let me reiterate that this goes for the Democrats, this goes for the Republicans, and also the independents. It doesn't matter what political realm you represent. Everybody needs to be exposed for their predatory behavior. Now, the one thing I noticed when they released the photos is that they were heavy in exposing Bill Clinton and Michael Jackson. I was like, okay, is this the Bill Clinton show? Especially because it's a multitude of photos with Bill Clinton in them. Now, I'm not here to defend or protect nobody. I'm just reporting the news out there. And so I want to say, as it pertains to the Michael Jackson and Jeffrey Epstein photo that they took together, a lot of people are alluding to the fact that that's a photo that was taken because Michael Jackson was looking at one of Epstein's properties in Palm Beach, Florida, and that's how the two of them got connected and actually crossed paths. Now, one of Epstein's victims by the name of Johanna said that that's where she met Michael Jackson. And then there was also a meeting that Michael and Epstein had in 2002. It was actually a business meeting, and that was during a period when Michael Jackson was facing some financial difficulties. And at the particular time, he was negotiating with Sony, whose financial advisor also worked for Epstein. So there was some type of business meeting surrounding finances. And that's how Epstein and Michael Jackson actually connected again. Now, I'm not here to absolve Michael Jackson from any wrongdoing because I wasn't there, but we all know the narrative that has been attached to him when it comes to him being accused of violating KIDS. But we have to remember that Michael was never convicted in the court of law for those egregious accusations. Now, there was another photo that was released of Michael Jackson, Bill Clinton, and Diana Ross together, and that particular photo was taken at the 2002 Democratic Convention. And they had some blurred out faces, and I'm told that those were Diana Ross's kids and Michael Jackson kids. And so a lot of people are labeling this a reach when it comes to the photos that they chose to release of Michael Jackson with Epstein and Michael Jackson with Bill Clinton and Diana Ross. Now, some other photos that were released that are tied to Jeffrey Epstein were photos of Mick Jagger, Kevin Spacey, also Chris Tucker, Richard Branson, Bill Gates, Noam Chomsky, David Brooks, Andrew Windsor, Woody Allen, and that's just to name a few. Now, I want to read you a text message that was released by the House Oversight Committee Democrats in Washington, D.C. on the 18th. And this comes from Jeffrey Epstein, and it says, "I don't know, try to send someone else. I have a friend scout. She sent me some girls today, but she asked 1,000 per girl. I will send you girls now. Maybe someone will be good for you, Jay." And then it's the name and everything else below that blocked out, but you can see the departure city is Russia. So ultimately, what they released was heavily redacted, and this was no surprise. We had an inclination that this is how it was going to be, and this is how things were going down. But it's going to be interesting to see how all of this plays out, because the Department of Justice is now facing sanctions for not releasing the entire Epstein files. So I want you guys to check out this clip, and then I'll be back.
We've got some late night updates on the so-called release of the Epstein files today. Representatives Thomas Massie, a Republican, and Democrat Ro Khanna, they say that it is very clear that the Trump administration today committed a crime with their holding back of most of the Epstein file documents. All of them that were supposed to be released today, they only did a partial release. Not only that, they redacted like 90% of the documents that they put out there that was not supposed to be be the case. Only the victims were supposed to be redacted. Now they are weighing their next moves. They are weighing if they want to give criminal referrals to people like Attorney General Pam Bondi and others involved in this scheme. They are also considering impeachment against Pam Bondi and others in the administration. Let me break it down quickly. You could see here Representative Ro Khanna said the DOJ's document dump of hundreds of thousands of pages failed to comply with the law authored by Representative Massey and me. One document, 119 pages of grand jury testimony, was completely redacted. Representative Massey responding, unfortunately, today's document released by Attorney General Bondi and Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche grossly fails to comply with both the spirit and the letter of the law that Donald Trump signed just 30 days ago. In this screenshot, Representative Massey makes the case as to why what the Trump administration did today was criminal. He shows 3 documents: the Epstein Files Transparency Act, the statement from Fox Digital, and the existing criminal statute of obstruction. And as the text of the Epstein Act says, no record shall be withheld, delayed, or redacted on the basis of embarrassment, reputational harm, or political sensitivity, including any government official, public figure, or foreign dignity. And that part is important. Just look at this reporting from Fox News where they say the Justice Department redacted the names and identifiers of the victims, and they also learned that these same redaction standards were applied to politically exposed individuals and government officials, meaning that this is how they're justifying if they were to redact Donald Trump's name or any politician out there or any person out there who maybe was a client of Jeffrey Epstein or engaged in any illegal activity. That's right, that's who the Trump administration was viewing as the real victims here who needed protection. And it's something that Speaker Mike Johnson even said just a few weeks ago, that he was worried that the files may create new victims by exposing those in Epstein's orbit who may have engaged in these activities. And here's the federal obstruction statute right here. And then as Massey notes on the bottom, he says a future Department of Justice could convict the current Attorney General and others because the Epstein Files Transparency Act is not like a congressional subpoena which expires at the end of each Congress. And as I said earlier, Representatives Khanna and Massey are working on drafting articles of impeachment and inherent contempt against Attorney General Pam Bondi as we speak. They have not yet decided on whether or not they are going to bring it. Fast-moving developments tonight. If they thought that this cover-up attempt was going to pull one over on the American people, they had another one coming. We're going to keep following this story and more. Make sure you're following our account and listen to the Midas Touch podcast for more.
All right, so ultimately they try to put a Band-Aid on the situation and it didn't work because a lot of people are like, yo, this is not gonna fly. We want everything to be released. We want everybody to be exposed. I mean, it's pretty simple. You can't take half of the SAT test and expect to pass. Just like you can't put half of the files out here and expect the American people to be satisfied. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into this interesting text message that woke me up this morning. I was sleeping so damn good. Now, before we get into it, I just want to say that this information is alleged, and it says here, Kim Porter's dad recently told a very well-known producer that Janice Combs thought that Kim's death was pretty questionable. Jake and Janice have privately discussed this matter, and clearly there are many questions combined with a heavy amount of suspicion. Although Janice has never embroiled Sean in connection to her death, she has said, and I quote, "Nothing about her death seems truthful." One thing I forgot to mention is that Kim told Blank that Sean probably met with Dr. Sebi a few times during his relationship with Cassie to get rid of certain infections. Dr. Sebi was compensated handsomely not to reference them to anyone as being clients. Cassie participated too. What's significant is that somehow John Travolta and Magic Johnson knew despite the confidentiality agreement. They were both clients of Dr. Sebi's at one point too. Now, I do want to let you guys know that I've gotten some more information in this morning as it pertains to this situation and more about the Diddy and Kim Porter dynamic, but I need to vet the source before I actually put this out. Like I said, 50 Cent is causing a storm behind the scenes, and I'm getting a lot of emails and text messages and DMs. But anyway, I'm gonna let this go right here. I want you guys to feel free to drop down in the comments and give your thoughts on everything that I talked about within this video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and if you're new here, consider subbing to the channel. I'll check for you guys later. Peace.
Tough News TV. We out.